Hello folks, welcome to another daily Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. Today we will continue to talk about what I have started already to talk about what should happen or what would be my expectation related to what will happen to the banking sector, what will happen on geopolitical level, and so on and so forth. And I will always try to bring some correlations to crypto as well, but also to monetary policy, geopolitical, military conflicts, and so on and so forth. It's not easy at all, but the context is always there. So I have talked about FEMA, the FEMA program of the Fed that allows foreign central banks to use their US treasuries as a collateral to get US dollar liquidity. And of course, when liquidity is going down and declining more and more and more, or just because your currency is, for example, decreasing in value, many banks will pressure as well the central banks to go exactly that way. I mean, we would have different options, but that's the point where geopolitics matters. Because as we know, and we have seen, also related to the Ukraine war, but also related to gas in general, we have seen that we have a stream. We have, as also mentioned yesterday in my analysis, we can imagine that the whole global landscape is splitting in different blocks. I have said that, for example, Russia doesn't have the same interest like China. Some people would not agree with that. They need each other. That's a big difference. They need each other, but they don't have the same interest. Just to give just another example why I'm saying that is I was reading about that in Reuters. India says China situation dangerous on Himalayan front. And that's not new. I mean, since almost, I'm not sure, about 60 years, we have an open conflict there. Sometimes it's escalate, like in September 2020, where at least 24 soldiers were killed when two sides clashed in their region. However, now we have another actor playing a role here, and that's Russia. Because for Russia, India, like I mentioned yesterday, India, but also Iran, is part of their agenda. While we also remember that for the US, at least that's what Trump tried, is to convince India to support them with money, with technology. I don't know every detail, but I can imagine even with military assets to escalate the situation with China. Because for Trump's view, India would be the best competitor for China. You know, they are very close, they have common borders, and India is big. So, but it didn't work. As we know, it didn't work. Trump wasn't in power anymore, and so all what Trump wanted to do, for example, to come closer to India, also related to economic and trade agreements, it's what Putin did just afterwards. And they declared that Russia's agenda, economic agenda, is, like I mentioned just a few days ago, to build a trade route between Russia, Iran, and India. Something that could be extremely interesting. Also for China, it depends. But in my opinion, they don't have the same goals and they don't need each other. They need each other right now, but I don't think in the next 20, 30 years they will need each other. I even think that for Russia, later on, China could be declared as a potential threat. At the moment, the biggest threat is the US for them. But, that's what I mentioned a little bit about group dynamics, when you have different alphas in one room. If you have 3 alphas in a room, it's going to be absolutely easy, because you always will find that one alpha will try, at least the smart one, to try to come closer to another alpha, to create such kind of, alliance, and then try to battle and to fight the other alpha. But what happens when the other alpha is weak and it's not a threat anymore? You can imagine what would happen next, right? So that's exactly what I would expect from Russia, China, and this correlation as soon they are done with the US. And that's going, in my opinion, not going to be absolutely easy to do this job. But and that's why I said it's going to get ugly in the next years. I don't have any doubts about that. Just related to different battlefields we will have on the economic perspective, for example, where they also will try to create more inflation to other economics, because that will bring them pressure, and the central banks has then to act, like, for example, for the Fed. Now some people are yelling and saying, well, everything is looking great, inflation is declining. No, inflation is not declining. Inflation is rising, but rising less than expected. That's the only thing. So at least the PCE is indicating it. So in my opinion, what will happen next in the US and what we'll see in the next years is very simple. Some people are, thinking about, holy shit, how do you think the US can just collapse the European banking sector without to have any trouble in their own economic? And how to do it? Because they are allies. So just to do it, it would be extremely dangerous also for their military strategy and also geopolitical one. Well, it's actually much more simple than you think. Because usually when you are an institution, when you are a wealthy people, a wealthy person, what is the first thing you would check when you are going to invest money? You would like to know, like every single bank is doing every single day with your credit applications. They will check if you are solid, if you have enough money, if you can spend, if they can give you a credit to get money back, right? That's the first thing they would check. And that's exactly what happens also with companies, banks, and other institutions over the world. That's what rating agencies are doing. Well, we can talk about rating agencies because those will have a key position in all these things, in my opinion. Let us take a look the whole entire market of global credit ratings. And that's the global credit rating industry. What do you think are the biggest 3 credit rating companies worldwide? And where are these coming from? I didn't hear you. Yeah, exactly. Let us just check them. Moody's, Standard & Poor, and Fitch. What do you think are these companies coming from? From what country are they? Well, Moody's, US. Standard & Poor, US. Fitch, US. Well, they are linked to UK as well, but US. Means if you want to canalize a stream of capital, the only thing you need to do is to use the power you have and something that happens in the past. I mean, it's not the first time that investors say that rating agencies, like in 2008 as well, are be used for manipulation, for example, for a good way and for the bad way, to say this company is absolutely wealthy and then it appears it wasn't. But now imagine you are using these rating agencies to canalize the European capital to the US. Because that would be the next consequence. It's what I told to you, central bank, so the FEMA, the Fed FEMA program that allows you to use your US Treasury as collateral to get USD liquidity. So if we take a look and we go even forward, of course they can't just say, hey, the rating is bad and that's it. Usually something has to happen. And we can see the CDS, so every kind of credit default swaps, for example, that was once again one of the problems of the Deutsche Bank, for example. But if we take a look, for example, to the short sellers, if we take a look to the short quotes, so banks in Europe, where we are seeing that more and more people are shorting them. Usually a lot would think it's the Deutsche Bank. No, it's not. It's even very close to Frankfurt, but it's not. It's in Paris. It's the BNP Paribas. Because they have a short seller short quote of almost $3 billion at the moment, while we have only 590 millions for the Deutsche Bank. So that could be something absolutely good. If we have a short squeeze, we know what happens. That's what we see on crypto. That's what we see on SPY. The price could go up. But in case that doesn't work, you can imagine the price could go down. That's where rating agencies, now let us be think very like evils. Now let us think that a lot of these shorts are coming from the US. And they will not allow a short squeeze. So what will happen? Usually they will start to unload their stocks, their shares. The price of the shares will decline. Rating agencies will say, whoa, be careful here. And of course, as a prevention, we will start to re-rate these companies, these banks again. And instead of, for example, AAA or, I don't know, we have different ratings. For example, we have AAA, AA1, AA2, AA3 means investment grade very high. We have A1, A2, A3, BAA, and so on and so forth. We have then B double, A1, 2, 3, BA1, 2, 3, and so on and so forth. And C is not really the best you can have. All these three, Moody's, S&P, and Fitch, are controlling the whole rating agency or the whole credit rating industry globally. And that is power. So if you need to do it, it's absolutely very simple. And it worked in 2008 as well. So what will happen then? Bank run. Obviously bank run. When ratings and media loves to take this kind of bad news, start to derate banks like Deutsche Bank, BNP, and so on and so forth, you can imagine that their shares will nuke, and of course rating agencies need to adjust and adapt their ratings for them. And that's a simple way to crash and to canalize, to crash a banking sector, to bring them really in a very, very tough situation, and at the same time to canalize and to control money flows from Europe heading to the US. And in my opinion, that's exactly what is going to happen in the next, well, I don't know, month. It's really hard to make any kind of forecast when such things should happen, but I guess everything will depend a little bit on CBDC, because while in Europe we are delaying the CBDC, it seems in the US they are making a lot of progress. I mean, every single African country is making great progress on CBDC. In Europe, it's like, so yeah, well, we need to talk, and yeah, we have the concept. Well, what the fuck? Really? I mean, usually I would say, well, yeah, that's Brussels. That's how it works here. It's bureaucracy. Everything takes years. But, usually then, sometimes with my experience, I would say, no, I guess, yeah, we need to make here something, but actually we are not so really motivated to bring a CBDC. And then, of course, I mean, Brussels is not only Brussels. I mean, that's a unity of different nations. And as we know, not always the European Union members agreed each other. So also here, of course, we will have not a synchronized information for all single members of the European Union, in my opinion. So they will, of course, say, yeah, we are working on it, and why they are delaying it. Because they know in advance, because it's part of a political agenda, that maybe, I guess, that's just a theory, a European CBDC is not going to be launched. Because they know we will get the CBDC from the US. When, in that case, the European Central Bank has to use their US treasuries to get USD liquidity. Because as I know, they are not buying gold, like Russia, like China, like India, like Brazil, like a lot of others. I mean, that was part of the BRICS, but not only these guys are buying gold. Other countries are also increasing their reserves. And as I know, and that's years ago, the German Bundesbank, that's the German central bank, they had their gold reserves in the Fed in New York. And they wanted to bring their reserves back to Germany. And they requested many times how much gold they have in New York. And Fed refused to answer many times. And I'm not sure, it was 10, 15 years ago. Then finally they shipped a big part, not everything, a big part of the German gold back to Germany, but we have still some tons remaining in the Fed, and nobody knows exactly how much. It seems, that's crazy to say it, but it is what it is. That's not my theory. I just got this information from an article. And yeah, so nobody knows what happened with this gold, if we still have this gold, how much gold the Fed, not officially, but really in their books, and the Fed in New York has, and their storage, and so on and so forth. You remember I have said just in the past, and that was something also very interesting, where an economist just asked the German Bundesbank if, in case that the whole situation with the Bundesbank is going to be getting worse, if they will reevaluate their gold balances, their gold reserves, because that would be also another opportunity to neutralize part of your debts. And they said it would be just too early to make a comment to this topic. When they said this in that way, it means, well, Maybe, but maybe depends, of course, of what the US has in mind. If the US will not support the gold, and in my opinion they are not going to do it, because if they support gold means also indirectly to support Russia and to support China. So they will, I guess, find another way to maintain the power of the US dollar without to bake it with gold. Something that the Republicans in the US, when Trump was president, tried. At least they started to, as mentioned, to bring a bill to the Senate, and even Trump was, I remember when he was, I don't remember her name anymore, but he placed one new member of the Fed, I don't remember her name, and actually she had in mind to bring a CBDC, a digital US dollar currency backed by gold. And as we know, at the moment, it seems that's not part of the current agenda by the Fed. So I guess they are not going to do it. And to be honest, it makes sense, because if we take a look to the whole geopolitical situation, it would make sense. However, where is crypto here? And do we see here any kind of opportunity for Bitcoin or crypto in general? Yes and no. Why yes and no? Well, no, let us start with the no, because if you want to canalize the capital of a country, or in general to get as much as possible, of course what you don't want is to have an alternative. Means if Europeans know, we can start to use our US treasuries to get US dollar, but at the same time, maybe we can make another deal and to shift to Bitcoins or to a different other cryptocurrency, for example. I just know Bitcoin, to be honest, but as currency. Anyway, that would be possible. It's hard to say it because nobody knows who is holding 50% of the current Bitcoin distribution. Nobody knows if it's Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, or maybe it's you. Nobody knows that. So that's a risk you need to absorb, because when it comes to geopolitical situation and someone wants to bring more pain to Europe, and Europe is buying bitcoins and bitcoins and bitcoins and bitcoins, yeah, of course, to the moon, but at the same time you can imagine that someone else with a lot of bitcoins can dump the market and bring a lot of trouble to European central banks. So I don't think that's part of it, and we know they are not really bullish on it. So I wouldn't consider this option that central banks are going to use Bitcoin as a reserve method. But taking into account that the geopolitical situation is escalating, that we will have different alphas in the room, it means also they will try everything to complicate their trades. Right? And if they can, they will also try to attack their financial network. Right? So Bitcoin could fix that. Bitcoin could fix that, and many other be careful what I'm saying, my wording, full decentralized network. I'm not talking about Lightning Network. I'm talking about the native Bitcoin token without any other layer. It takes a little bit to have the transaction done. That's not a problem. But when you can say it's absolutely sure and safe, that's absolutely enough for certain transactions. Between China and Russia, between Russia and Brazil, between, they can send each other bitcoins. Of course, you need to swap them then in different CBDs, fiats, and yen or whatever. But you can use these bitcoins, for example, in the future as an alternative payment method to make these transactions absolutely safe. That would be a very, very nice case for Bitcoin, to be honest. I don't think that would bring Bitcoin to the moon, because, for example, I know at least from last year that China owns almost 200,000 Bitcoins. So, while at the same time, we know as well that Russia is openly saying that they want also to let mine Bitcoins in Russia. China, I guess they will. I'm not sure if the ban of mining in China is still activated or active, but in case in the future, in my opinion, every kind of ban could be gone and they will start again to mine bitcoins as a payment method that's completely safe. They don't care about the price. It's more about information. So we will see how the whole thing will play out, and we will talk about that more and more and more. I'm taking a look if I see something else what I wanted to mention, but yeah, that's actually it. Just reading from Bloomberg from today: Europe's banks lose cheap deposits as savers seek higher rates. And yeah, I mean, in February it was almost 50 billions less, while they received, for example, in January almost 30 billions. Now that's also going to be a problem. And money paid for term deposits is on the rise, and that's obviously also a problem for, at the moment at least, for the banking sector in Europe. And in Europe, if such kind of bank like BNP Paribas, Deutsche Bank, and so on starts to collapse, it's where we know we will go and shift more and more to hands of the US central bankers and government. Well, I think we are already there, at least the last option, but not yet in the first one. But I think that's going to happen. We will have a divided global scenario. And as mentioned in my description, it's going to be 3 different alphas. 2 of them will play together because they have a common enemy. But when this common enemy is done, they will fight each other. In my opinion, Russia and China is completely different. They need each other. That's sometimes in economics you have that. Remember that Adolf Hitler had also its agreement with Russia before he then just went to Russia to attack them. But, even 2 leaders who were completely different with other goals, they met each other and they had its agreement, like, for example, Venezuela and the US. You remember Chevron just supplying Venezuelan crude oil to the US just in the last few months. Even Venezuela is one of the most closest ally of China. But sometimes that happens. Doesn't mean they like each other. It just means they need each other. When they don't need each other anymore, it's where everything is going to become more exciting. 30 minutes, we are done here. let us go forward. So now let us talk about the most important thing here is on-chain analysis. First of all, my first announcement, finally CryptoQuant kicked my ass off their, they call it actually the CryptoQuant verified author. That means that when you are part of this program as a CQ verified author plan, you received actually access to all their data for less actually. And but of course you need to meet their requirements, and their requirements are to provide analysis to their community. They have a blog, and I missed it. I just missed it, but because I just when I'm saying to people I don't have the time, people think I'm joking or something. I really don't have the time. And so yeah, I missed it. I tried to fix the problem with them, but they only want the text version. So I'm done with CryptoQuant. I need to see if I can keep providing the same data like I'm using since a while, or if I'm going to switch to another provider. We will check that. I will spend my weekend with this topic. And then we need to see, or I'm just going to open another account on CryptoQuant, and that's it. Just to pay a little bit, and I don't need that much data anymore from CryptoQuant as I used just in the past, so it will be fine. Let us talk about weights ratio. The weights ratio 30 days moving average, declining. And when it's declining, usually it brings pain. And I'm still waiting for it. I am still waiting for the pain. We went up here to finally 64. Right now we are making 48 in the 1 day time frame. And usually here it's really indicating over and over again that now it's declining. Even it keeps maintaining relatively high, but of course we declined so many times, and here as well to 34, and now it's taking effect. We are declining, but I guess we will bounce soon and start to push up once again. Only if my theory of the distribution, and that's what the weights ratio is indicating, unless that a big sell-off is going to happen. I still think that would be possible. In my opinion, still think that 30k could be the key level before down, but that's something we need to see. If we take a look to the weights ratio now, 1 hour time frame, we see once again they drop it and the price is pushing up. We can also see that they went up to almost 88 and now it's declining once again. We can see that we received, before we started to push up, some stable coins now declining, meaning we are taking profit, it seems. And yeah, that's actually what we can see here at the moment. Relatively unchanged. We can see that we received more pressure, and now it's declining, usually also indicating we should go a little bit more up, but the volume is just peanuts. It's just, what should I say? I mean, it's not big at all, and yeah, we really need to see how far we are going to go here with this. Right now, with this, yeah, I don't know how to call it, to be honest. However, also here nothing to see. The net flow related to bitcoins, positive, indicating we received more bitcoins than outflows, but nothing big. Let us go forward. So we will take a look to the flows once again. More stablecoins out than in. We see that today are relatively low. Let us take a look, but yeah, since 2 p.m. it's declining a lot, so not indicating any kind of big inflows coming. At the same time here, we can see, for example, 880 Bitcoins was at 1 p.m. That was the biggest today, so nothing to see. And even here related to outflows, almost flat, almost absolutely flat. We take a look now to stablecoins. Outflow 211 millions, while we received here 146 millions. It seems that was the big preparation for the next leg up. We will see how far that's going to go. I would like to see the 30Ks finally. Some people are saying 31, some are saying 34. I don't know. Just 30K, then let us see. But in my opinion, 30K, just as I tweeted today, would match to my trend lines and then get rejected there and then go down. Down would mean we can even go to 20K then. And now some people would say, what? Yeah, it would be possible. We will take a look later on in my last chapter. So we are done here as well. So if we take a look here, let us refresh. 19,338. It maintains. So it's really crazy, and that's a lot. Because it means in the last 7 days, and we know how we started this week, it was very red, and now green. I mean, 17,000, almost 18,000 Bitcoins in just few days. It's huge. That's really huge. I mean, still we received this month much more, but not the 60,000 Bitcoins anymore, 40,000. We will check. You know, also here it's declining, but still indicating. But here we can see that that's the net flow daily of the last 7 days, and you can see that they started here to push up and to take out some Bitcoins. Here we see the rolling, how they started. It's a better view here. For example, we declined, they started to push up to buy, we declined once again, and now it seems, I guess they are pushing now with futures again. We can also see that the balances on centralized exchanges declined. So if we take a look here, we can say 2, that would be 180, well, 90,000. 90,000, let us say 80,000 Bitcoins still waiting on centralized exchanges. Always the question is, for what? For what are they waiting there? And usually it's dump ammo, but at the moment nothing is happening. So we need to have more patience, and maybe those 30Ks will be it. So now let us take a look to the futures market. We can see we pushed up. Oh, that's tiny. I need a little bit bigger this here. We went up, down, and now recovering also here. If we take a look to open interest, up, declined a little bit, went a little bit more up, then declined even more, now also pushing up, and leverage ratio doing almost the same. So here declined, pushed up, declined, pushed up, declined, and now it's here. I don't know why CryptoQuant once again has a lack of informations there. If we take a look here, it's also something that's frustrating me. Every time I need to do it here from new, and here it's my net flow chart. So we see that we are receiving here a little bit more stablecoins related to the derivative exchanges, while on the Bitcoin side I would say it's more neutral. Neutral means we are not actually receiving more. It's we had here a net flow of 1.7, 1.4. Yeah, it's almost a zero-sum game, so nothing big, to be honest. Let us go and check the aggregated. The aggregated is here indicating the funding rate lifted up. It's declining now a little bit. Open interest was lifting up. Then they liquidated all these shorts, as mentioned yesterday, and also leverage ratio doing the same. So it seems they liquidated a lot of high leverage shorts. And if we take a look here, just from yesterday, it's almost the same. We liquidated 865 bitcoins and longs and 724 bitcoins and shorts, so almost also the same. If we take a look now to blockchain whispers, it looks now also a little bit different, because we see here, wow, okay, that was at 1.4 billion just a half hour ago, and now we have 1.7. Wow, okay, well, 43 to 57, while here 41 to 60. I would say on Ethereum they are much more bearish than on Bitcoin at the moment. And also here shorts reduced by Bitfinex and longs increased, or at least since yesterday maintained. So also here nothing big to see. Now let us take a look here on Binance, all leverage, what's happening there. And we see 350 millions. It lifted up a little bit more since yesterday. Yesterday, if I remember right, we had almost, let me check, that was, I think, 250 millions. Now we have, I guess, 100 millions more. I see here, I'm not sure if that was yesterday almost here, but I can imagine more high leverage longs. That's something we will take a look now. Yeah, with 50 millions. And that makes sense. That really makes sense, because in my opinion, once again, the whole push up from what we did from 27.5 to 27.8 was mainly by spot, and then the push up was mainly by futures supported by spot. And we have here right now, that's a huge one, let me check, 271 millions, that's it? That's not possible. No, it has to be 12.5 millions. I don't know why I don't see that. It doesn't appear. Well, it doesn't matter, but this bar is just bigger, so it means 12.5 millions liquidations there. A big position where its liquidation price would be 28,200. So it wouldn't surprise me if we go to 28,200 before we go even more up. I have a trend line there, so it would make sense to go to 28.2 and then go just a little bit lower, a little bit higher. But that's in something we need to see. It's just right now too early to say that, because we have also here a big position, or at least a bunch of liquidations for shorts, high leverage. It's a little bit less than the long one with almost 9.7 millions, but and at a price of 28.7. So to push up a little bit more where we went just before, and then go down to liquidate them would be absolutely possible. So let us take a look. Gamma 28,250, and the next one, of course, 28,750. We have a support area here, close where we have the biggest liquidation cluster for the high leverage longs, and we have a resistance here, close where we have the high leverage shorts. That makes sense. Why not? To maintain between 28,250 and 28,750. However, that's the magnet, 28,250. We should go down by $150. That's nothing big, but we can also go up to 28,750. For that, we have a resistance area level of 2850. If we break 2850, we will go up to 28,750. If we break 28,750, the next would be 30k. Even the magnet is not on 30k at the moment. Bears would love to see 27.5, and only if we break this one, we would have the next support area 27. If we break this one, then next 26.5 or 25. 25 is still something that I have in my mind, because of the the orders there. GAX, of course, nuked because we had today expiry Friday. Every Friday we have expiry, and the GAX have a little reset. However, after the reset, we had the bottom here of 160,000. Right now we are back to 200,000, just too high, indicating we have more space to the downside than to the upside. If we go now forward, we can see, and I would like to, I have prepared something. Today I would like to check all these four here, just because of the premium. If you check this, that's big. 13 millions in bull call spread, 6 millions in bear call spread, 3 millions in custom strategy, and 2 millions in bear diagonal spread. So very interesting, a lot of liquidity, and that's what we are going to check. Just give me a little bit. So, bull call spread. Let us start with the bull call spread. First of all, we missed this one. They are now trading March 2024. We can see extremely bullish. They are spending a lot of money. I mean, if I take a look here, that's 5 millions, last 3 millions, 2 millions. A bet that we will see a price above of 65,000 until end of March 2024. Obviously, they will have a lot of time in case of a lot of time to adapt to the market. So if they see that it's not going to happen like they thought it's going to happen, then of course they can sell some calls, instead buy some puts, and so on and so forth. However, do we have anything else? 16, 18, then we have 30k, 30k until mid of June. That's everything we have seen just before. 52 positions. Yeah, it's everything above of 30k, 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 30k until mid of June. Until mid of June, they are expecting to see a price above of 30k. Bear call spread. No, that's call calendar. Where's the bear? Bear put, bear call. We have here 14 positions, and also big ones. That's from today, okay, where they are saying, for example, let us start here. So they bought for 300, they sold for 800, so absolutely refinanced. However, they are saying we will see a price below 32k until end of May. So also not really indicating something extremely bearish, right? 32, 30k, 32, 30k, 38k, 32k, 38k, and so on and so forth. And also relatively big. We have here, for example, 860, 870. Wow, that's also big. So they are almost saying, hey, 32k, or at least something, 32k should be our top. So we can even go above of 30k until end of May, but that should be it, well, custom strategy. That's a big one. And multi-leg, 3 different trades here. Call 50k, call 50k, call 30k. What did they sell? They sell this, and purchase this one. The question is expiry. That's the same expiry. I don't know, to be honest. But also for 2024, it seems they changed from September to March 2024. That's everything, it seems like. But also bullish. Everything is bullish at the moment. Absolutely everything. Absolutely everything. We see here put call indicating we would see a move between 28-30k until end of June. Well, then 65, I think they did something similar here, but it's, well, it's also not that. Wow, 29 positions also here. They sold buy. I don't have any clue what they did here, to be honest, because I don't know the context. That's multi-leg positions are extremely difficult to see and to know what they are doing. Anything? No, that's it. So that's also big here. Also multi-leg. Calls 25, puts 25, call 21. They sold. Absolutely, I don't know. End of March, that was today. They purchased this morning. Call 21k for $474,000, and they sold here those two. Okay, that's really interesting. I guess someone just did a quick money here, but nothing where I would say that would be absolutely helpful for us at the moment. So bear diagonal would be the next one with calls, and we have here a big one. Wow, indicating we are going to see a price below 28k until end of the year. Well, thank you very much, but that's it. That's absolutely it. So nothing really useful. Only the bullish ones were really useful because it's consistent. It's always the same. Bullish. But we have seen that in the opposite way as well. Bearish. And so it's nice to see that. It's big money and we need to consider these trades. But yeah, let us go forward. So then let us take a look to the CBDs. First of all, BTC USDT making a difference of almost 80 millions. The aggregated BTC USDT, that's only Binance. It's with 76 millions, a little bit lower than Binance whole BTC USDT CBD. BUSD, as expected, only 17 millions. And wow, USD 145 millions. 145 millions. I never have seen that in the past with USD. Something is absolutely changing, and I really tried out to figure out what's happening. Something is going to happen with stablecoins, it seems, or or people are converting USD and bitcoins, or I really don't know what they are doing, but I never have seen that. Usually Tether, stablecoins in general were much higher, And well, I mean, what does it mean when the CBD is lower than the? We have different interpretations. It can mean that we have not that much people who want to sell their bitcoins for directly with fiat, or we just have a lot of people who wants to convert their USD and Bitcoin, for example. And at the same time, on Tether means, yeah, they pushed up with Tether, but also means that the sell pressure maintains very high, and that's why the CBD is not that big like with US dollar. However, the US dollar is extremely high. It's really, really high. And once again, Bitcoin margin contracts minus 199, almost 200 millions, indicating once again they are shorting with Bitcoins. And while usually both should correlate, but they don't. They pushed once again up with USD in that case, and with futures and stablecoin margin, 730 millions. It's I don't get that. I really don't get why US dollar is pushing up that hard. And we know who is that. We know who is, but look that. I mean, we are talking about from here, we are talking about 750 millions. That's crazy. So we can see here, for example, BTC BUSD, the aggregated, and once again, it looks absolutely different. That's stablecoin futures, that's Bitcoin collateral futures, and then the aggregated. The aggregated is up, up, up. Why Bitfinex not following? Also extremely strange. Usually they are following, but they are not doing it. Bybit not following distribution. And now let us take a look to Coinbase. Coinbase, I didn't check the chart, but it has to be, wow, pushed up very hard. Yeah, pushed up very hard. Someone is pushing up very hard on Coinbase, and absolutely no doubt what is happening. Or bears disappeared there. That's also possible. No one is selling and only buying, but it doesn't look like. I mean, even the volume is not bad at all. I mean, 1,100 and 1,100 here as well. That's crazy. Strange. Bitstamp following, Kraken following, Gemini following. So nothing have changed. Still the same. Oh yeah, didn't check that since so long. Woof. Okay, that matches to the data I have showed today as well. Okay, they sent 468 millions, but they withdrew 920 millions. They sent 393 millions in bitcoins to centralized exchanges, and they withdraw only. That's not bullish. Even Onyx RP a little bit more bullish. On Ethereum, not that bullish. And BNB neutral. But that's crazy. Well, let us go forward. So we received today in the morning, 2:30 a.m., 1.27 billion US dollars in stablecoins. Then 1.07 billions were withdrawn from centralized exchanges, and then afterwards another 300 million. So we are talking here about 130 millions more out than in. We can see that Tether is once again with USDC, but Tether mainly here pushing up the price, and we can see that USDC is cooled down a lot. I don't get that. Why people are using now Tether. Well, I mean, why people? I mean, who is using 31 millions? I don't know, but in my opinion, I can imagine that even Tether is doing it or something. I really don't get that because, you know, it doesn't match. US dollar CBD extremely high, and while at the same time pushing with USDT, it doesn't make sense. We are missing something. So entities, retail, of course, declining. We need to see, pushed up very hard, declining, and even here they declined. That's interesting. Who declined here? Oh, let me check. That looks like, oh, what happened here? Bitfinex. That's Bitfinex. Let me check. Very interesting. I will show you because I really missed that. So I was tracking a little bit those 30,000 bitcoins because they purchased, or Bitfinex received those 30,000 bitcoins March 20th. If we take a look, March 20th, that was actually, was it here? Where can I see the date? Oh, here. At a price of, what was the price here? 28. And now, yesterday, they removed those 20,000 from Cold Wallet. As you can see, a lot of different, what is that? 178,000 bitcoins. Okay, they moved 168,000. It seems like, looks like a little bit rebalancing here. So, but those 20,000 went to another cold wallet, and it seems this cold wallet is something like a cold wallet prepared for the hot wallet. Let us check. We received here 20,000 bitcoins. What happened to this 10,500? Went to Bitfinex wallet. And what happened there? Hello, why it's taking that much now? Yeah, that's a hot wallet. These guys are selling. Bitfinex is selling part of those bitcoins they received March 20th. Isn't that interesting? I don't like this, guys. I don't like always everything. It doesn't matter what they are doing. It's always fishy. It's always something that doesn't look great. However, okay, that explains the 20,000 bitcoins here, 30,000 reached here, and they are selling now just a little bit with a little bit more gain. Nothing big, it seems. But now let us take a look. Here, wallet counts here declining a little bit, here declining a little bit, here maintaining, here rising, here rising, here rising, here rising right now, here declining, well, maintaining, I would say, and here declined. So if we take a look now, let us take a look. 113, 114. Yeah, okay. The market maker received one wallet from the big guys. So I guess that explains also once again, because it doesn't match that it's pushing up. I will show you why. Because Oh yeah. If we take a look, that's what the market maker is doing. Market maker entities. Let us refresh here. And we can see that they send fund flows, a lot of fund flows. Also here, for example, 700 bitcoins here, another 700 bitcoins here, another 600 bitcoins here, another 400 bitcoins, another 640, 935, 1400, and so on and so forth. Always when these guys are here, they are distributing. That's what they are doing, distributing, then pushing up, they distribute even more, and that's what they are doing. It keeps looking like exit. Weights ratio. Bitfinex pushing up now in weights ratio, while Gemini declining a little bit. Binance pushing up, but nothing big, and Huobi is pushing up, but also nothing big, and Kraken is maintaining. So also here nothing to see. Funds neutral. Wow. Futures volume pushing up like hard compared to spot. Spot is it's nothing. Well, and that's it. Yeah, everything else, market activity declining more and more and more. So nothing have changed. Also activity on centralized exchanges declining, and OTC coming not big at all. I mean, if we still see what they did just before, it's absolutely, but something is happening here. So we are done here as well. Let us go forward. So Coinbase reinforced here 25k. They reinforced here. We received more volume here, 29. Looking forward, if we are going to make 25 before going up, or what we are going to do. In my opinion, it still makes more sense to go finally to push up to 30k and then go down, but that's something we need to see. But we can see that they have shifted more volume here to 29k right now. Bitstamp, they removed the wall at 27, now it's 26. Yeah, and you can see here a lot of sellers waiting up to 30k. In my opinion, still makes more sense to push up to trigger all the sell orders and then to go down. Binance BTC USDT, also here you can see they are protecting 29, so it's not going to be easy, but still having here 27.5, 27, and in my opinion still here 25 is still the key. 25 and 26.7, we need to see. Would really nice to see what they are doing, because at the moment we are in the middle of the way. BUSD waiting here 29, but otherwise 26. Also here, for example, you can see 25.5. Bitfinex spot also doing the same, 29.2. A lot of sell orders up to 30k, and that's it. OKEX spot, nothing. Kraken spot, also here waiting at 25k. It's obviously we'll need to go to 25k, but in my opinion we will go up to 30k first. BitMEX, nothing. Did I say I like BitMEX? So derivatives, Bybit, nothing. That was USD, now USDT, also nothing. Binance BTC USDT, wow. At the moment, obviously, they would long here. So they removed here a lot of long volume. Instead, they are waiting at 29k, but also here reinforcing 30k. So yeah, I don't need to repeat myself, but BUSD, nothing. well, a little bit here, 29.3, but Bitfinex derivatives waiting at 28. They triggered their short order at 28.5. I didn't see that one. Interesting. So short and then push up once again. Yeah, that would make sense. So Kraken, nothing. OKEX, interesting. Wow. Waiting at 27.8, so indicating we could go down to 28k and then go up again. And Deribit doing exactly almost the same. You can see here what they are doing, but also here between 28.7 and 29. Much more indicating we should go more down first. So that's it from here. So I think it's going to be the last time that I'm going to provide this, my personal conclusion. But someone made a comment that was extremely nice. He said, hey, a nice summary at the end would be cool. And that's what I'm going to do. First of all, to show here that that's my daily. Let us check the daily first. Nothing have changed. I mean, I show you here a little bit my... we have some diagonal trend lines, you know, and I'm not using the usual trend line from one top to the other top and high and high and high and so on and so forth. I'm always looking where the price had its bigger move. When you see a green candle or a red candle, a big one, it's because they needed to use more funds or to dump even a bigger volume to cross that area. And that means we have a support or resistance area there. And when I don't know how you are doing it, but that's, so they started here. We had exactly that situation here. We had to push up very hard. At the same time, you can see we bounced here once again. They needed to push down very hard to cross that area. Then we bounced actually here in that area, and then we went up. We got rejected here. We went down once again, also indicating every single time we had on this trend line is obviously we need to be extremely careful, because afterwards something we pushed up very hard, but at the same time we declined. Well, we will see even more, because that happens here. You can see, boom. Then we pushed up very hard to the upside. That would look like a bull trap, for example. And then afterwards, you know, we bounced here, went up, declined very hard, pushed up, bounced here once again. You can see from here till here, then up, and then once again here. So we bounced here, went up once again. It happened again. We went rejected, and look what happens afterwards. So, and now we are coming back. So we can say that the whole area here was really such kind of supply level where they started to buy, and then they started to push up. If we are taking a look to a larger time frame, and that's 1 day time frame. And now we are coming back to this zone here, to that trend line, that obviously it had every single time a bigger price impact. Means as soon as we go up, we should consider such a scenario, because that happened 1, 2, 3, 4 times. And at the same time, if we check, for example, we have a parallel line here, where if we start here, we can say that's a deviation or bull trap. Then also here, you can see it pushed down very hard. Then here, you can see pushed out very hard. then we can see here a big scope because they need to push up very hard to the upside. You can see that this candle was extremely big, also here indicating not only this here, but this here they pushed very hard down. Also here worked as a resistance, declined a lot. The same happened. The same happened here. The same happened here. You know, also another deviation like we had just before. Pushed up, got rejected, and down. So this time it was exactly the same. We pushed up very hard. We retested it, and now we are maintaining that level. The question is, what is going to happen at the moment? The red line, the parallel line, is such kind of support right now. But if we are losing one of both, means if we get rejected here, usually that means we will have a bigger candle here and we will go down very hard. But in case they want to break the trend line to the upside, as we have seen just before, and that could be really a bull trap, is to push up very hard like we had just before, go down, and then we will have once again here the situation of a long candle wick, or long candle at least, and it could be extremely aggressive. So when I'm saying I'm expecting a very sharp price move to the downside, it just also not, I'm combining informations together. That's the key. I'm combining the net flows. I'm combining, well, option trades and futures. Yes, because we know that they are driving the market mainly with futures supporting with spot. But what I'm doing is really checking different behaviors of the price, because every market is only liquidity and price action. Price action and liquidity comes together. And when I start to check a chart, and as mentioned, I'm not a TA specialist. I actually don't care about any patterns or Fibonacci and so on and so forth. But where I care is to see where we had the biggest impact, where we had the most aggressive price moves, and why. And when you see that you have a pattern where you see that you have a trend line where always you had a bigger price impact, means to the up or to the downside, just to cross this trend line, is something you should expect next. So obviously, if they are not going to break this one, we will go down hard. And I would expect something here between 19 and 20K. If they are going to break this one, oh my god, yeah, then many option traders are absolutely correct, because then we would see something like 40K, or, you know, because that's what happened in the past as well. And that would be something, for example, we had that here, well, once from 56. We went then up 56, almost $10,000. And that would be something I would expect then in such case as well. But usually I would expect here to get rejected and to start to unload. And first bounce should be here 25K. Depends of, so just to show you that a little bit, what I would trade in case of, I would wait to see what's going to happen here. If we go up, we get rejected. We will try once, maybe a third time, and then it's going to be a sharp price move down, maintain, and down. So we will have here between 25 and 26, where we have a lot of buy pressure. or at least a lot of related to centralized exchanges, and there was a lot of liquidity. So to maintain here, and then just to make like they did, but just in the opposite way, to go down straight, hitting this here between where we have here the POC 19k and 20k, and then we need to see what's going to happen next. I mean, then we are talking about almost $10,000 difference, and that would be a 30% price nuke. Just to understand a little bit my language, because that's how I'm working. And of course, taking into account the different levels of volume profile, where we have seen we can even reduce the pace a little bit, or having even once again maintain a little bit and then go more down. But usually, if we go down, we should expect on that red line here a bigger price move, a sharp price move. We can maintain, but then we should go down, hitting, if we go here to 26, we can go directly to the next block here. That would be almost $3,000 difference. And that's something where I would start to trade and to use swing trades as well. Why it's useful for me? Because it protects me to get liquidated by futures. If I know I should expect a sharp price move there. In some areas, you don't need to expect such kind of sharp price moves. Only if it triggers by events. But if it's not, the market always works in that case. So you have some volume profile, you have some POCs, local POCs. We have the main POC still here at 16.7, and usually you can say here they will reduce the pace of the sharp price move. They will reduce the pace of the sharp price move here as well, maybe even here, for example, because we had volume there. So they will try to bounce a little bit and then maintain to accumulate some longs and then push even more down. But as mentioned, if we break this one, it's going to be a big break. It's really going to be, such kind. Boom, 32, maybe down and then more up. But I don't, at the moment, I still not convinced of that. And someone asked me what would invalidate my bearish view on this market. It's not the price. It's not the price. It was never the price. I don't care about the price. That's what I said different times already. I don't care about the price. It's not the price. It's the market conditions. It's the environment. It's so nothing at the moment. Nothing can invalidate my bearish bias. I'm not providing here to convince you about my bearish bias. I'm providing this analysis to give you a better insight and unbiased data insight to what's happening on chain. I'm not going to discuss you. Sorry, I'm not going to discuss you if option traders are wrong, if the market cannot go to 40, 45, 50k. The thing is, the market is in few hands. And the problem here is those few hands can get in trouble, like it happened in FTX, and that's what I'm expecting. So I don't care if we are going to do in short term $10,000. I'm not telling you don't trade, only because I'm not trading. Because I have alternative assets where I can make money, and that's where I'm spending my time. But it's not here. It's just because I think it's obviously that this market is going to get in trouble very soon. And I don't know when exactly. If I could know when exactly, I would trade. But I don't know. And I don't want to wake up once and to see that some headlines, for example, US government looking for CZ to arrest, or Tether, but something like this will happen in the future. I don't know about CZ, I don't know about Binance, but maybe about to Tether. And I will not have the time to take out my money, and that's the main reason. So the price is not the matter here. It's not what it's going to invalidate my opinion, to be honest. So yeah, we need to see. At the moment, also here, for example, we can see another trend line, but that's really 1 hour time frame. And at the moment, we have here a local POC where the price is right now 20,374. Usually, I would expect, as mentioned just before, to go down a little bit more. For example, here 28 200, and then we need to see what's going to happen next. That would be my expectation. However, enjoy your weekend. 50 minutes, oh my god. Enjoy your weekend. We will see us next week, and I will spend my weekend to show or to look to replay some information from CryptoQuant. So big love, your Inspo.